ஆழ்வார் திருடிகளே சரணம், எம்பெருமானார் திருடிகளே சரணம், பிள்ளைலோக்காச்சாரிய திருடிகளே சரணம், விளாஞ்சோலை பிள்ளை திருடிகளே சரணம், ஜீயர் திருடிகளே சரணம், ஜீயர் திருடிகளே சரணம், பிள்ளைலோக்கம் ஜீயர் திருடிகளே சரணம். ஸ்ரீசைலேஷ தயாபாத்திரம் தீபக்தியாதி குணார்ணவம் யதீந்திர பிரவணம் வந்தே ரம்ய ஜாமாதர முனிம் ரம்ய ஜாமாத்திரி யோகீந்திர பாத ரேகாமயம் சதா ததா யத்தாத்ம சத்தாதிம் ராமானுஜ முனிம் பஜே. லக்ஷ்மீநாத சமாரம்பாம் நாத யாமுன மத்தியமாம் अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजे युग्मरुक्म व्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये. मातापिता योतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य न कुलपतेरुकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं शरश्च महताह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसारकुलशेखरे योगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणुप्रकाले यतीन्द्रमिश्रान् ஸ்ரீமத்பராங்குஷமுனிம் பிரணதோஸ்மி நித்யம். வாழி நலந்திகள் நாரண தாதனருள் வாழியவன் அமுத வாய்மொழிகள் வாழியவே ஏறு திருடையான் எந்தை உலகாரியன் சொல் தேறு திருடையான் சீர். We have been enjoying saptha kAdhai along with its commentary. This saptha kAdhai is a wonderful Tamil prabandham composed by viLAnjOlaip, who is also known as Narayana Dasa, who is a very dear disciple of lOkAchArya. And this prabandham, saptha kAdhai, has a detailed viLAnjOlaip commentary given by piLLai Jiyar. With the help of that viLAnjOlaip's English translation, we are enjoying the English meanings for this wonderful prabandham. It is a very important prabandham in our SrIvachana Sampradayam. It has 7 pasurams. All of them are in simple Tamil. And in these 7 pasurams, the most important grantham, rahasya grantham given by lOkAchArya, that is SrIvachana bhUshaNam Divya Shastram, that grantham's essence is beautifully explained in these 7 pasurams by viLAnjOlaip. viLAnjOlaip wrote this beautiful prabandham based on the knowledge he acquired by constant listening to lOkAchArya. So lOkAchArya in his SrIvachana bhUshaNam Divya Shastram talks about many important aspects. Among those, the most important aspect which is spoken by lOkAchArya is Acharya being the ultimate means and ultimate goal. That principle is beautifully elaborated in this prabandham. Also many other principles such as Bhagavan's nirhetuka kripa, unconditional grace, costless mercy, greatness of Bhagavatas, and the effect of committing offense against Bhagavatas. All of these principles are brought out beautifully by viLAnjOlaip in his wonderful prabandham. We've seen first 3 pasurams in a detailed manner so far. Initially, we saw the Taniyan, that is the glorification given to viLAnjOlaip. And then we saw the Avatarikai, the introduction section, in a detailed manner. Then we've seen first 3 pasurams. First pasuram, Ambon Arangarkum, Avikum, Antaranga Sambandam Kati, தடை காட்டி உம்பர் திவம் என்னும் வாழ்வுக்கு சேர்ந்த நெறி காட்டும் avanandro acharyan. In the first pasuram itself, viLAnjOlaip explains who is an acharya. Acharya is the one who teaches us Artha Panchakam. Artha Panchakam means the 5 principles which we have to understand. We've seen the famous pramanam from the Harita Smriti. Prapyasya Brahmano Rupam, Praptuscha Pratyagatmanaha, Praptipayam Param Praptehe Tata Prapti Virodisha, Vadanti Sakala Vedaha, Setihasa Puranakaha, Munayascha Mahatmano, Veda Vedartha Vedinaha. So this pramanam is very famous, and it talks about the Artha Panchakam, the 5 principles which we have to compulsorily understand. All the Vedams, along with Itihasas, Puranas, and the great sages who know the text and the meaning of Vedams, they all speak about Artha Panchakam. 5 principles. What are those? The nature, true nature of Brahman, Bhagavan, who is to be attained. That is the first principle which we have to understand. And then the nature of Jivatma. Each one of us are Atmas who attain Bhagavan, Brahman. So we have to understand about ourselves. And then the means through which we can reach Bhagavan. That is Upayam. We have to have good understanding about Upayam. And then the benefit after attaining Brahman. What are we going to do after attaining Brahman? That is explained as Prapyam, Upayam. So we have to understand about that. Finally, the Virodhi, the hurdles which are stopping us from attaining him. So all of these put together, collectively explained as Artha Panchakam. And this Artha Panchakam is spoken by Vedam, Itihasams, Puranas, and the great sages who know all of these. This is the main thing which we have to understand. Without Artha Panchakam, we cannot progress towards Bhagavan. And the Acharya is the one who gives us this complete knowledge about Artha Panchakam, reforms us whenever we are doing mistakes, guides us, and makes us situated in this Artha Panchaka Jnanam. So that principle is elaborated in the first Pasuram, and this Artha Panchakam is available in Tirumantram, Ashtakshara Mantram, Narayana Mantram. And this Narayana Mantram is further elaborated in Dvayamaha Mantram and Charama Shlokam. So all these put together are said to be Rahasya Trayam, Tirumantram, Dvayamaha Mantram, Charama Shlokam. And the focus of all these 3 is Artha Panchakam. And that Artha Panchakam is to be taught by the Acharya. The one who teaches that Artha Panchakam is the Acharya. So that is the definition for Acharya. Acharya means the one who learns Shastram and the essence of Shastram from elders, one who puts them in practice. It is not enough if we just learn, we have to put them into practice. And then the one who teaches the same to others and make them also practice these principles which are shown in Shastra. So that person who does all of this is known as Acharya. And the essence of Shastram which he learns, practices and teaches, that is Artha Panchakam. And that is known through Tirumantram, Dvayamamantram, Charamashloka. So this is the essence of first pasuram. Then we saw second pasuram. அஞ்சு பொருளும் அளித்தவன் பால் அன்பிலார் நஞ்சில் மிக கொடியர் நாம் சொன்னோம் நஞ்சுதான் ஊனை முடிக்கும் அது உயிரை முடிக்கும் என்று ஈனமிலார் சொன்னார் இவை. All the great acharyas, they have all explained that the one who doesn't have great love towards acharya, who gives this artha panchakam knowledge, such persons who have no love towards such acharya, they are more cruel than poison. And the reason is explained by viLAnjOlaip that poison only damages the body, but this attitude of not having love towards Bhagavan, that will destroy the true nature of the self. That is, Jivatma has to have true knowledge, and that knowledge is given by Acharya. And if one doesn't respect and revere and love that Acharya, then that person is as good as not existing. It destroys the self completely. So that is explained in the second pasuram. And then we saw third pasuram. பார்த்த குருவின் அளவில் பரிவின்றி சீர்த்தமிகு ஞானம் எல்லாம் சேர்ந்தாலும் கார்த்த கடல் மண்ணின் மேல் துன்புற்று மங்குமே தேங்காமல் நண்ணுமே கீழா நரகு. That is the third pasuram. In the third pasuram we saw, again it's an elaboration of the principle shown in the second pasuram. If one doesn't have love towards Acharya, who mercifully glanced the Shishya, disciple, mercifully gave the knowledge to the Shishya. But if the Shishya doesn't have knowledge towards Acharya, but he builds on the knowledge given by the Acharya and becomes an expert, let's say, even in that case, even if he has got full knowledge, but if he doesn't have love towards Acharya, then that person will remain in this world without making upward progress towards Bhagavan. Not only that, subsequently that person will go down deep into the hellish regions because of his lack of love towards the Acharya, says the third pasuram. So we've seen that. Now today we will try to cover fourth and fifth pasurams. Fourth pasuram. தன்னை இறையை தடையை சரணெறியை மண்ணு பெருவாழ்வை ஒரு மந்திரத்தின் இன்னருளால் அஞ்சிலும் கேடோட அளித்தவன் பால் அன்பினார் நஞ்சிலும் கேடென்று இருப்பன் நான். Again this fourth pasuram, viLAnjOlaip is talking about those who don't have love towards Acharya, who teaches Artha Panchakam. They are worse than poison, says viLAnjOlaip. Let us first see the introduction for this pasuram. Now, in this pasuram, viLAnjOlaip is mercifully revisiting the second pasuram, or the principle shown in the second pasuram. Already we've seen this explanation that those who are not having love towards Acharya, who taught Artha Panchakam, they are more cruel than poison. We've already seen that in the second pasuram. Now lOkAchArya is again stating the same fact. Why so? Isn't it redundant? Is he not repeating the same thing over and over again? Is it not a fault in his poems, in his prabandham? That question may arise. For that, Acharyas have explained that viLAnjOlaip is practicing Simhavalokana Nyayam. Simhavalokana Nyayam is a common practice in poetry. A person would explain something, and then after that, the person will revisit the same principle because of its significance, because of its importance. And for that, the name given is Simhavalokana Nyayam. Simhavalokana means a simha, a lion. Usually, when it comes out of its cave, it will come forward a few steps and then it will turn around, walk back a few steps just to ensure that there is no enemy nearby, and then it will again walk forward. So, this concept of coming out, going back, and then coming out, this is same as Acharyas revisiting the principles which were explained previously. So, that is what is being done here by viLAnjOlaip. He again explains the Artha Panchaka, because how many ever times we hear about this Artha Panchaka or any important principle for that matter, we may hear that, we may listen to that 100 times, still it will not register completely and we will not start practicing the philosophy completely. This is why Acharyas keep repeating the same thing again and again. If you go through our Acharya's commentaries, in many places we'll see the same thing. Give up attachment to worldly things. Have devotion towards Bhagavan. Don't expect any benefit, result in doing our actions. Avoid other devatas. Avoid pursuits. So these 10 or 15 concepts, they will be repeated in many places. Why? Because they are so important. We have to understand, and the acharyas will not leave us until we understand. So they keep saying the same thing again and again and again. So here, viLAnjOlaip is saying, Tannai, Irayai, Tadayai, Sharaniriyai, Mannu Peruvalvai. So these are Artha Panchakam. Tannai, Jivatma Swarupam. Irayai, Paramatma Swarupam. Tadayai, Virodhi, hurdles. Sharaniriyai, the path to go towards Bhagavan. And then Mannu Peruvalvai, ultimate goal of reaching Bhagavan and engaging in eternal Kainkariam. All of these are given from where? That unique mantra, Uru Mandiratin, that means unique mantra, Tirumantram, Ashtaksharam, from there. And who gives it? Acharya. Acharya gives it. The one who gives Artha Panchakam is the Acharya. And how is he giving? In Arulal, due to his sweet mercy, his unconditional mercy. And what does he do? Anjilum Kedoda Aditavan. In all these principles, any confusion we may have, any errors we have, any misunderstandings we may have, he drives all of them away. So such Acharya, towards such Acharya, unbilar, the one who doesn't have love, affection, devotion, Nanjilum Kedendru Irpannan. I will consider such person to be worse than poison, says viLAnjOlaip. The reason why he is saying non-irpan, I will remain like this, that is because he is accepted by lOkAchArya as disciple. So he understands that now he has authenticity, he has trustworthiness. So he is saying, I consider in this manner, which means you can also consider in this manner because I am a trustworthy person. I am a disciple of lOkAchArya. lOkAchArya has accepted me. So I am worthy. So if you listen to my words, you will also benefit. So that is what is being said by viLAnjOlaip in this fourth pAsuram. Let us see the commentary for the pAsuram. We have already seen the 5 principles: Jivatma Swarupam, Paramatma Swarupam, Upaya Swarupam, Upeya Swarupam, Virodhi Swarupam. All of these are given by Acharya. Here, each of those entity, that is Jivatma, Paramatma, Upayam, all of these are explained. Tannai means Jivatma, one who is revealed in Shastram as the abode of servitude towards Bhagavan and having Jnanam and Anandam. So Jivatma is first Sheshabhuta, servitor for Bhagavan, and he has knowledge and bliss and all of that as his qualities. Irai means Bhagavan. Now in Tirumantram, Jivatma Sarupam is shown in Makaram. A, U, Ma, Pranavam. In that, Makaram has Jivatma Sarupam. Then Irai means the one who is prayed, the one who is revered. Such Bhagavan is shown in Akaram. In Tirumantram, Akaram shows Bhagavan. Akarartho Vishnuhu. That A is a name of Vishnu. So that shows Bhagavan. And then Tadayai, the hurdles which stop us from reaching Bhagavan. And those are shown in Namaha. That is, after Pranavam there is Namaha. In that Namaha, Maha is Virodhi. Maha, that means eliminating that Virodhi. So, Namaha shows Virodhi and elimination of that. Then Sharanyariyai. This is also shown in Namaha. Namaha, when we split it, it shows the Virodhi and elimination of Virodhi. Maha is hurdle. Na Maha means eliminating the hurdle. Sharanyariyai. Namaha. Namaha also, when we see somebody, elder or respected persons, we say Namaste. That means Namaha. Namaha means surrendering to somebody. That also we have to understand. When we say Adiyen, Dasan, Namaha, all of these, that means we are submitting ourselves in front of the other person whom we are addressing in this manner. So that understanding should be there. It is not just mouth says Adiyen, Dasan, but mind thinks why I should be subservient to this person. Then that is of no use. So here the proper path, Sharanagati, is shown in Namaha. And then Mannu Peruvalvai, the eternal benefit, the great benefit of Kaikarya, eternal service to Bhagavan, and that is revealed in Narayanaya. Narayana Bhagavan. Aya for him. To be in servitude for him, in service for him. So all of these, Uru Mandiratin, with one mantra, a unique mantra, distinguished mantra, that is Tirumantram. There are innumerable names for Bhagavan. Keshava, Madhava, Govinda, Vishnu, Madhusudana. There are innumerable names. And those names can be classified into two categories. Vyapaka Namam, Avyapaka Namam. Vyapaka Namam means the names which show his all-pervasive, omnipresent nature. Avyapaka name means other names which show other different meanings, like Keshava, the one who has beautiful hair. Govinda, one who is dear to earth, one who is dear to cows. These are other names of Bhagavan which talk about different aspects. But Vyapakam, that is his omnipresence, that is shown in three namams: Narayana, Vasudeva, Vishnu. Among those, Narayana is the most complete name. And the Ashtakshara, Tirumantram, is based on this Narayana Namam. So, Pranavam, Namaha, Narayanaya. That is the mantram. And the speciality of this mantram is explained in many different ways. You can see some of those points. Na mantraha ashtaksharat paraha. Narasimha Puranam says there is no mantra which is higher than, superior than, greater than ashtaksharam. Nasti cha ashtaksharat paraha. Naradiya Puranam also says there is no mantram greater than ashtaksharam. So this first, these greatness are there, and then many principles are shown here for the greatness of this Tirumantram. It reveals the 5 principles, Artha Panchaka. It remains the most authentic pramanam to reach Bhagavan. That is, true understanding of Tirumantram, Dvayamahamantram, Charma Shlokam elevates one. Bhagavan, through Acharya, through these teachings of Tirumantram, he uplifts Jivatma. It is the total wealth for those who lack any other upayam. That is, Sharanagati is the way of accepting Bhagavan as the upayam, and that is shown beautifully by this Tirumantram. And there are many other greatness which are shown for Tirumantram. So with this Tirumantram, the Acharya, out of unlimited mercy, he is explaining. Usually to get any vidya, any knowledge, one has to go and serve Acharya for many months together and so on. But here, those who are instructing Tirumantram, Attaksharam to us, they are all doing it with great mercy. Unlike the other places where lots of service is expected before any favors, here Acharyas give this Tirumantram as a great favor out of their great mercy. Anjilum Kedu Oda Alithavan, the one who gives this Tirumantram so that, and this Artha Panchagam, so that any misunderstanding, any errors, any doubt, they can all be removed. They can all be eliminated. Anjilim Kedoda, that is giving this Artha Panchakam so that one will not have any confusion, any doubts in this Artha Panchakam. So towards such Acharya, one should have great mercy. Now, one should have great devotion, great love. Acharya will have mercy towards Shishya, and Shishya will have great love towards Acharya. Now, this Tirumantram and Artha Panchakam, what are the misunderstandings they eliminate? That is explained, confusing body to be self. If one confuses body to be self, if one understands that Jivatma is Jnanamaya, Anandamaya, then one's confusion will be removed. One confuses oneself will be independent, having total free will. But when one understands that one is subservient to Bhagavan, then such thought will go away. Confusing oneself to be subservient of other devatas and other persons. If one understands the Ananyarka Sheshatvam, Ukaram in Tirumantram, then all of these confusion will go away. Confusing Bhagavan to be not the Supreme Lord, that confusion will be eliminated if we understand who is Bhagavan. In this manner, many of these confusions, doubts, they are all eliminated by this Acharya. So, such Acharya who gave this knowledge for us, towards such Acharya, if one doesn't have love and affection, it is said that Shvetashvatara Upanishad says, Yasya deve parabhaktir yatha deve tata gurau tasyaite katitahyartaha prakashante mahatmanah. So here the Acharyas, they give beautiful instructions. If one has to benefit from those instructions, one has to have ultimate devotions towards the Acharya, just as he will have towards Bhagavan. So Acharya should be revered at the same level as Bhagavan. Only then the meanings of the instructions given by Acharya will remain and will be clear for the Shishya. So if one doesn't have such love towards Acharya, then what should we do towards such person? For that, viLAnjOlaip is saying, Nanjilum Kedendri Irpan Nan. I will remain that they are cruel, more cruel than poison, because poison only will destroy the body, but this will destroy the self itself, says lOkAchArya, viLAnjOlaip. By this three pasurams, second, third, and fourth pasurams, viLAnjOlaip has mercifully revealed many aspects of SrIvachana bhUshaNam, especially Adhikari Nishta Prakaranam. That is, how to understand and avoid apacharams, asahyapacharam, all of those. So those principles are shown um, in these three pasurams. When we say that Acharya should be greatly revered, greatly served and all, those principles are based on SrIvachana bhUshaNam, where it is said that one should avoid Acharya, apacharam, and one should have great devotion towards Acharya and so on. So that is explained. And also the cruel nature of the different apacharams, Bhagavad apacharam, Asahya apacharam, those are all shown and they are also explained in these three pasurams. So we've seen the fourth pasuram. Next we will see fifth pasuram. என்பக்கல் ஓதினார் இன்னார் எனுமியல்கும், என்பக்கல் நன்மை எனுமியல்கும், மண்பக்கல் சேவிப்பார்க்கு அன்புடையோர் சன்ம நிரூபணமும் ஆவிக்கு நேரே அழுக்கு. Very important principle is shown in this pasuram. Let us see the introduction first. So here viLAnjOlaip is saying, just as the disciple who receives instructions will have his nature destroyed when he lacks love towards his Acharya. So Shishya receives knowledge from Acharya, but Shishya has no love towards Acharya. In such case, the individuals, the disciples' true nature will be so if the disciple receives instructions, doesn't have love towards Acharya, then his true nature will be destroyed. We've seen it. Similarly, the Acharya who gives these instructions, he also has to have certain understanding, clarity. If he doesn't have that clarity, then his nature will also be destroyed. So Acharya's quality is shown in this pasuram. Again, these are all explained in SrIvachana bhUshaNam, which we are going to see subsequently. So here in this fifth pasuram, Acharya's qualities, what are all the ideal aspects which Acharya should have, and what should the Acharya should avoid, that is explained in here. En pakkal odinar innar enumiyalvum. So here first point is, when an Acharya teaches his disciples, his shishyas, he should not consider them to be his shishyas. Rather, he should consider them to be his Acharya's shishyas. So if I am teaching, I should just consider that my Acharya is teaching through me to these Bhagavatas, to these disciples. You are all here. For example, when I am teaching, I should always consider, it's an important point for me to remember that I am not teaching here, it is my Acharya who is teaching through me, having me as an instrument to convey his message. So that is the concept we should have. If I start thinking I am the Acharya and they are my disciples, then that will be disastrous for me. So if I think that all of these are my disciples who are learning from me, they are my shishyas, if I think like that, then that will be disastrous for me. Similarly, enpakkal nannai enumiyalvum. If I think that I am the one who is teaching all of this, I am the guru, I am the Acharya, then that will also destroy my true nature. மண்பக்கல் சேவிப்பார்க்கு அன்புடையோர் சன்ம நிரூபணமும். Man means king, pakkal means towards him. So those who are always worshipping Bhagavan, they are, let's say, first category. Towards them, anbudayor, those who are having great devotion. So there are those who are devoted to Bhagavan, and there are another set of people who are devoted towards those devotees. So those who are well situated, well focused in Bhagavata Sheshatvam, that is not directly serving Bhagavan but serving Bhagavatas, being a servitor of Bhagavatas. So for such persons, if we analyze their birth, this person is coming from third Varna, he is coming from fourth Varna. If we start analyzing and consider that person to be inferior because of his Varna, then that is directly a defect for the Atma. Avikti nere aluku. So that is the point here which is shown. If one considers oneself to be an Acharya, if one considers one's disciples to be his own disciples, and if one analyzes the birth of a Bhagavata and minimizes the person's glory based on that birth, then all of these are directly affecting the Atma and destroying the true nature of the Atma, says viLAnjOlaip in this pAsuram. Let us see the Vyakhyana, commentary of piLLai lOkAchArya. Whenever one is teaching the Acharya, that Acharya should be very, very humble. First of all, we have to understand that we don't know everything. If we think that we know everything and we can handle everything, then that is misunderstanding from our side. Anyone will have a limited amount of knowledge, maybe a little bit more in some person, maybe a little bit less in another person. So if we consider ourselves to be great, then that itself is a very slippery slope. It will make us fall down. That is why Alvars also identified themselves to be very humble. Arivilen says Nammalvar, I have no knowledge, even though he is almost uh, blessed by Bhagavan and he is Sarvagya, he knows everything. Still, Alvar says, I have no knowledge. And then in Tirajavamshati, Manavada Mamnigatshi, Varavaramni Swami, he tells, Agyoham, I am ignorant. So in this manner, in many places we see that Acharyas manifest humility and lowliness about themselves. That is what we have to do. If we do it otherwise, if we think that, oh, these are all my disciples, my devotees, if we think with pride, then it will be disastrous for us. And then, yen pakkal nanmai enemy. If we think that I am the Acharya, first aspect is thinking that these are my disciples. Now, thinking that I am the Acharya, there is some good aspect in me. So if we think like that, then that will also be disastrous. We have to think that it is Bhagavan who is guiding us from within. We don't have any goodness on our own. It is purely by the mercy of Bhagavan. As Nammalvar said in Thiruvaimazhi, 7th centum, 9th decade, என்றைக்கும் என்னை உய்யக்கொண்டு போகிய. In that Padiham, Alvar is saying Bhagavan is present within him and guiding Alvar in making the pasurams happen. So one should never think that one has greatness. I am the Acharya, I am the all knowledgeable. Everybody has to come to me, everybody has to bow down in front of me. We should not have, one Acharya should not have such aspects. And then, is that all? No, there is more. Manpakkal Seviparka Anbudayor Sanma Nirupanamum. Those who are worshipping Bhagavan and those who are worshipping such Bhagavatas who are worshipping Bhagavan. So among those, if we do analyze the Varna, Janma means here the birth. If we analyze the birth and say, oh, this person is from fourth Varna, he is not good. If we have such attitude, then that itself is very bad for us. So all of these will lead to disastrous state for the For that, Acharya himself, Janma Nirupanam means analyzing the jati, the varna of the individual, and this is an upalakshanam, because there may be there are many other factors which make one to be deemed as superior or inferior based on knowledge, based on wealth. So if we minimize a person's greatness based on one's birth, then that itself is a huge uh, mistake, and that will have severe repercussions when we commit Bhagavat Apacharam by analyzing their birth and determining them to be lowly and so on. Then that is directly um, damaging the Atma, because um, in the case of an Atma, if it is just basic mistakes, one may just face bodily effects based on karma. But if one commits these mistakes, that is, considering oneself to be the guru, considering all his disciples to be his own disciples, and considering a person to be lowly based on one's birth, these are all directly um, affecting the Atma and destroying the Atma. The difference is shown. Unlike Ahankara, Artha, Kama, these are all also sometimes seen as defects. They are causing defects, but they cause defects only to the body. If we have Ahankara, we may go and pridefully talk to somebody, and somebody may even beat us. That will only affect the body. But if we don't understand the important aspects, such as having humility and being a servitor for the one's own acharya. So even when one is teaching to others, one has to think that his acharya is teaching through him. So all of these are explained in this fifth pasuram. With this, we will stop today, and then we'll continue on in the next session. That will be the final session of this saptha kAdhai prabandham. Alvar Thirudigale Sharanam, Emberumanar Thirudigale Sharanam, viLAnjOlaip Thirudigale Sharanam, ஜீயர் திருடிகளே சரணம், ஜீயர் திருடிகளே சரணம், பிள்ளைலக்கம் ஜீயர் திருடிகளே சரணம். பல்லாண்டு பல்லாண்டு பல்லாயிரத்தாண்டு பல கோடி நூறாயிரம் மல்லாண்டு திண்டோள் மணிவண்ணா உன்சேவடி செவிதிருக்காப்பு அடியோமோடும் நோடும் பிரிவின் ஆயிரம் பல்லாண்டு வடிவாயினின் வளமார்களில் வாழ்கின்ற மங்கையும் பல்லாண்டு வடிவார் சோதி வளத்துறையும் சுடர் ஆழியும் பல்லாண்டு படுபோர் பொக்கம் வழங்கும் அப்பாஞ்ச சன்னியமும் பல்லாண்டு.